Welcome to the deep dive. So today we've gathered quite a bit of material, news reports, awards info, fan discussions, even things she said herself, all focusing on the life and recent passing of a really beloved actress, famous, of course, for one of TV's most memorable characters.
Yeah, and our mission here really is to, look beyond just that one iconic role. We want to
Yeah,
unpack the whole picture of Loretta Swit, her life, her impact. What did the sources really show us about what made her special? Not just on screen,
yeah.
but off screen too.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Because for so many people, she is Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan from MAH.
Yeah.
Instantly
That's
recognizable. And we saw the report she passed away peacefully in New York City at 87. Quite a life, full of performance, but also a lot of passion.
It's really striking how central MAS was, isn't it, to her public image? But like you said, the sources show there was so much more. I mean, she was one of only 4 cast members there for the entire run. That's 11 years, 72 to 83.
Wow, the whole time.
The whole time. And her work definitely got noticed. She picked up 2 Primetime Emmys for playing Margaret.
Right, I saw that in 1980 and 82.
Exactly. And, multiple nominations on top of that, Golden Globe nods too. It wasn't just a fluke.
And that character, Margaret Houlihan, she went through quite a transformation, didn't she? If you look back at
Ah.
like early fan stuff, she starts off really stern, kind of rigid, always bumping heads with the guys.
Oh, absolutely. Very different at the start. And what's clear from the material is how that change sort of mirrored the show itself. MAH started darker, more satirical, then shifted towards more comedy drama with heart.
Mm.
And Margaret's journey totally reflected that. She got way more complex, showed vulnerability, and importantly, she earned respect, even from characters like Hawkeye. There were those key episodes where she really stood up for herself or for her nurses. She became, well, a different kind of figure by the end.
She really did. She famously said she worked hard to make Hot Lips understandable. You could see she wasn't just playing a type. She was building this character into something more, almost like a role model for women in the military back then. And that finale speech, gosh, part of a moment watched by, what, over 100 million people. Incredible reach.
Huge, but like we were saying, there was life beyond the 4077th. The sources paint this picture of a really vibrant career outside MASH. She did a lot of theater, Broadway, big touring shows like Same Time Next Year.
Hmm.
She even did demanding one-woman shows like Shirley Valentine.
Right, so definitely not just a TV actor. Her talent clearly went beyond that medium. And looking at her credits, before and after MAS, she was everywhere as a guest star. You see her pop up in shows like Y50, Mission Impossible, the classics, but also lighter stuff like The Love Boat.
Yeah, she was a real working actor, a long, varied career, not just defined by that one massive hit. And this is where, digging into the sources gets really interesting, connecting the different parts of her life. Because alongside all the acting, there's this incredibly deep, consistent commitment to animal welfare.
Yes, that really stood out. It wasn't just a casual interest, was it? It felt like a core part of who she was.
Absolutely fierce passion woven right into her identity.
And it's impressive how she linked it to her other talents. She was a vegan, very active, and used her art, her watercolor paintings of animals specifically to raise money, and only for nonprofit animal groups, which is quite specific.
That connection between her art and her activism is really compelling, isn't it? We saw examples of her work with groups like Best Friends Animal Society, where they featured her paintings. She wasn't just painting animals. She was trying to capture their personality, their spirit, using her artist's eye.
Totally. And it wasn't just the painting either. She designed jewelry for animal causes, got involved in diverse issues, things like seal hunts, animal welfare conditions overseas, even supporting ecotourism for penguins.
Quite a range.
Yeah. Her quote, compassion teaches without saying a word, that really seems to capture her whole approach, using warmth, understanding.
Mm-hmm. And you can trace that passion way back. She talked about the sheer joy she felt seeing a dog as a child, that excitement. It seems like that lifelong feeling really fueled both her art and her advocacy work. It wasn't something she just picked up later.
So when we pull it all together, what does this deep dive really reveal about Loretta Swit? We've seen the dedicated performer who took an iconic character and really worked to give her depth, made her understandable, showcased her craft on stage, on screen.
And alongside that, the passionate advocate,
Yeah.
someone using her creativity, her platform to champion animal welfare, something clearly deeply important to her. She seemed like a woman of real conviction, living out that idea, she mentioned, that acting is not hiding, it's revealing.
Yeah, that quote really resonates. It feels like it applies not just to her acting, but maybe to how she lived her whole life, putting her passions out there.
Exactly. Revealing her true self through her work and her causes.
So here's something to think about. When you picture Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan next time, does knowing about the artist, the theater performer, the dedicated animal advocate behind the uniform, does that change how you see the character at all? And maybe what does it suggest about the hidden layers, the unexpected passions that public figures might be pursuing, making a difference away from the spotlight?